Hello and good evening. For most of us in the United States, is the eve of Turkey Day, but here at Speed Gaming, it is Worlds Collide Wednesday when we get to showcase the Final Fantasy VI Randomizer. My name is Joker Mage. I'm with Sonic the Jester here in the booth, and we've got the Schwans helping us behind the scenes. We got a great race coming up for you to watch, and why don't you give us some details about it, Sonic?
Oh, first off, everybody, what better day, during a holiday? I remember when I was a kid, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, you'd get a half day off of school, so if that's the case for any of you, you get to enjoy the rest of the night, let's say half day off of work, you get to watch the Worlds Collide and then have a great holiday weekend, right?
Absolutely. And it's the perfect time to just think about how thankful we are for the Final Fantasy VI Randomizer Worlds Collide.
Now, what we have tonight is a Potion D race, and we have Grinx Clue, who's currently in first place, and Luna Chimera, who's currently in fourth. So this is going to be an exciting match because Luna's going to try to pull out some stops here to take on and put on a show with Glue. What do you think, What do you think, Joker? Think Luna's going to do that?
I'm really interested in seeing how these two do. We did get a sort of advanced glance at how the other racers in this pod have done, and there's some pretty interesting times there, and we're going to see just how those match up with what we're going to see tonight. To the best of my knowledge, everyone who is going to be racing this seed, except for these two, has already raced it. Is that correct?
That is correct. One person wasn't able to run, and then 4 people have completed it. So these will be the last two. So they have no chance for spoilers. We don't have to worry about ruining it for anybody. And you are right. Our times went from the low hour mark to almost the 2 hour mark. So I mean, who knows what hiccups lie in wait for our runners tonight? I know I didn't get to see any of the streamers throughout this week, so I'm definitely spoiler free for this. What about you?
I have been busy with so much other stuff in real life, and I just have not had a chance to look at this. So I am really glad to be able to get this chance to see it with you here, and sort of get to see first glance at this seed that has such a wide spread. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting race, and I think right now Drinks Glue is leading the pod. And I think Lunar Chimera is doing well enough to avoid getting eliminated, which I believe is what's coming up very shortly in the Ultras League Season 5 tournament.
Very true. 1 to 2 of every division they get demoted, right, as well as promoted. So this is my first year participating myself, so I'm not sure how crazy that is. Maybe there's some other factors that go into it based on the activity. I'm not 100% sure, but as long as they keep, we already know where Glue's going, right? As long as they keep up what they're doing, we're gonna see who they end up with. Lunar is on a great track record for this year. As long as they keep learning and keep executing, we'll be fine.
Absolutely. And we're going to just go ahead. I think we're starting shortly. Give me 1 second to get caught back up. And so this, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's in the Ultras League flag set?
Oops, sorry about that. I was trying to pull up the chat real quick. Oh, I do apologize. My Twitch is going crazy. So what we're dealing with is the Ultras League Season 5 flags, which brought back, the old school. So we're going to go ahead and see what's in these.
I saw dance. I'm sorry, I just said I saw dance, capture, and rage.
Okay, so I mean, maybe we get some good
Both of them just deciding to go straight into World of Bounce Narsh as standard, pretty standard opening play. Loot up the place, check the item shops, check the weapon shops. And what we do see is, I think Drinks Glue has started with the looting, while Lunar has started with the shopping. But I'm pretty sure that's going to cross paths very shortly. I haven't seen. We got Rainbow Brush from the clock chapter. I can. Hello. So I think it sounds fine. I'm not sure on how it's coming out for the rest of the audience, though. So we might get some words from chat. I believe we were supposed to be on Speed Gaming 2. Is that correct? Okay. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe you'll have to get to Swans to help you out with that. I'll keep on doing what I see here. Basically, Lunar Chimera has decided to head out to South Figaro, World of Balance, and Drinkslu has also left Narsh. Looks like a similar play, going to go check out South Figaro. Great place to start to check for early items. And we're going to see... I didn't quite see what was in the relic shop. Actually, Drinkslu has switched to World of Ruin and is checking out Phoenix Cave instead. Going to do a small party split, probably to loot the place, I guess. And that party is just 1-1. There's not really any bosses here to fight until you go up against the dragon, so it's perfectly fine to loot it. And since we do have lock, we can actually go ahead and do that check. Given that both of the teams he's created only has one character each, I doubt we're actually going to be taking on the dragon this early. But that would be certainly an interesting play. So I think it's more just going to go and see what's at the end of the check and also just loot the place. It's definitely got stuff to loot. Meanwhile, Lunar Chimera is continuing to just take out all this stuff there. Give me 1 second, please.
Yeah, just an interesting route here by Drinks Glue heading into Phoenix Cave early. We're definitely not going to get the dragon here on super duper low levels. I've been trying to mess around with the audio. I told Joker to, or not Joker, I told Sonic to restart his computer. But hopefully our audio between me and you, Joker, is balanced pretty nicely, as we do get first Esper of the Seed Carbuncle there in the South Figaro basement.
And again, we're still just going. It's fairly standard play to you guys starting Celeste to go ahead and loot out South Figaro. I don't know how common is it to just sort of do this Phoenix Cave opener. Is that a really common thing, or is Drinks breaking new ground here?
I'm not sure how often he does do this. It's kind of odd, right? Because with our 3 characters, we have Locke, who has 1 free check at the Narsh Weapon Shop. We have Setzer, who has 1 free check at the Colin Janin, and we have Celeste, who has 1 free check at the bottom of the South Figaro basement. I wouldn't think you'd hop into Phoenix Cave right away. Maybe Glue is just trying to make a play here that he knows that some of the other runners won't do in order to differentiate himself. Because if he finds something interesting here, then he'll be out in front. And I'm going to try and add Sonic back in, and we're going to do some more audio testing. So hold on to your knickers, everybody.
Okay. Yeah, and I do think a lot of people do just... Hello. I do think a lot of players are going to normally just hold off on Phoenix Cave until they're ready to take the dragon, assuming they want to take the dragon. It is not a super common one, so it's possible that this is a play to just get something interesting and get some kind of advantage for that, Lunar is not going to check. Other people are not going to check for quite a while. And while they are doing a heads-up race here, it is also important that technically they are also racing the 4 others who have ran the seed and who have already posted times. So it's going to be interesting. And that is an interesting find at Phoenix Cave. We have Gao now. So that is character 4 for Drinks Glue. And meanwhile, I believe I'm trying to. That looks like Thamasa that Lunar Chimera has gone. No, I'm sorry. That I'm actually not sure. I didn't get a good look at it before we went to the menus. But yeah, Drinks Glue has been sort of going all over the place in World of Ruin, while Lunar Chimera has been more or less staying in the World of Balance. And welcome back. I'm glad you're here. I'm hoping that we got the audio issues sorted out now. We do see Lunar Chimera now in World of Ruin, and going to the World of Ruin Narsh to, I think, do the freebie that Joshwan's mentioned earlier, the weapon shop check. I'm going to assume that we're still sorting out some of those issues, but yeah, we're going to... Glue is just getting some big items now, some of the standard stuff that you want to have around for the early game and mid-game. We do see a cursed shield check coming in here. That is 10, right on the line. I don't know if anyone's is currently able to respond to me just due to the auto problems, but that is kind of where some people will take it and other people will not. And right now we just have a lot of shopping going around, trying to get some better gear here and there, maybe find really useful items. I think they're both still in World of Ruin at this point. That was a Ragnarok sword. It's a nice find. And it looks like Glue is also now going to be going ahead and doing the Celeste check, I believe. Lunar Chimera going for a monster in a box, and we find the presenter, not the one you necessarily want to see. That and it looks like someone did. Oh, Lunar Chimera decided to reset out of that. Probably decided it wasn't worth it, or possibly misplayed something there. But we'll see what Lunar decides to do next. Meanwhile, we do see Glue going through the rest of the South Figaro basement area. I tried to sort of do my grind fights in some of the more standard areas, although I have been known to just take fights in the Doma defense. However, we do see that looks like Lunar Chimera may be checking the cafe check for Setzer right now, because that is currently in Kungolven. I can never say that place correctly. And we go straight into Death's Tomb, another of Setzer's checks. There's going to be a fight at the end of this, but you can sort of peek what's at the end. So possibly if you don't like what you will see, you can just reset out of that. And also see the weapon shop check on Glue side, so possibly going to check the shield as well. And we already saw the shield was 10. I don't know, is that one you to go ahead and run with, or would you just sell it? The curse shield is 10. Okay. Okay, we did get Unicorn at some point. Lunar Chimera has still looking, finds Master Pugs, and we did see that the cafe check was Odin, the Magicite Odin. So there's at least 3 known Espers. And we did see Gao earlier from Blue's really audacious Phoenix cave check. So Glue does have 4 characters at this point. Meanwhile, we do see it looks like Chimera or Lunar Chimera is trying to take the Master Pug after all. I'm not sure if that's experience or if that's for the item, but it's certainly not going to be an offering. And we have Glue on the other side shopping and possibly going to also do the Daryl's Tomb check since we're in the area. That is a World of Ruin check for Setzer. That's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. And we'll see very shortly. Meanwhile, we do have dances and rages coming out in, I think, slots. Where are we going now? Glue is checking the shop in the airship. World of Balance airship has a shop at the bottom, and that pays off because that's a place you can buy those warp stones, it looks like. Very useful item to find. That step mine did not do quite as much damage as it's done in my game, so that looks survivable at least. Then again, there is not that much health right now, and it looks like they're doing that Master Pug is doing a lot of damage actually, so I take that back. I was wrong. Meanwhile, we still got some more item shop checking going on. Eye drops. It's always good to stock up on the basics. And petting the dog, because we all know that Glue has that dog in him.
Oh, yuck. This Master Pug fight's not going too well for Lunar here.
No, that is not a great fight. I'm not sure how useful getting that. I believe it's that knife Gradius is what you get out of that.
Yeah, it's good to sell, but yeah, Master Pug fight, you just run away from it. The Gradius is pretty terrible.
This early on, especially, I just don't think that's an easy fight to take or spend time on.
No, it's not worth it. Not at all. And it looks like Glue has got Heal Rod Curse Shield strats. I'm loving this.
That was my original attempt at getting through it as well, because I didn't have ribbons during that playthrough.
Yeah, so as far as the audio goes, I'm Schwantz, I'm not Sonic. Sonic's mic, for whatever reason, even though I have him at 200%, is not audible at all on the stream. Right, Sonic? Say hi. Say hello to everybody. Yeah. But anyway, so we have one person whose microphone's fine in Discord, but when they get broadcasted out to the stream, it's not so fine. And I turned down Joker's mic a bit to normalize the audio, so hopefully it's good. And this Rexall fight is terrible.
Yeah, it's not going well, and I didn't see what was at the end of that. I missed the what was written on the tomb, unfortunately. We do have another interesting play from Glue, because he has Gao. He's doing the Serpent Trench check.
Yeah, it was Shote that was inscribed in Daryl's tomb, so that would have been Esper number 4 there for Lunar Chimera. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the Illumina or the Ragnarok that Glue seems to have, so Glue definitely going to have a funner time through the trench here, and it looks like Lunar Chimera is going to take off the Moogle Charm and do some grind fights here in order to get some levels to damage down Rexall a little bit here at the end of it.
Now, do you think that's going to be an effective way to do this, or would you rather come back with like more people and better equipment?
Yeah, I would come back later, but you already are all the way down here, so it's one of those things where you got to get off a level 3 somehow. With these characters, I probably would have gone to maybe Opera House, because there are some forced encounters, or they're kind of forced, but you can kind of skip them. They're the rats above the Opera House that scurry around to get.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just so easy with this particular set of characters to just say, "Oh, I'm going to go do the free checks," but that just puts you right behind scaling.
Yeah, so in Worlds Collide, the enemy levels are based on how much progression you have. So that's characters, espers, and dragons, and then you multiply it by 2. So Lunar Chimera's enemies are all at level 12, and you start out on level 3. And on level 3, basically everything kills you. And these 2 behemoths, if Lunar Chimera can get through this fight, this will be a lot of XP. I've saw a couple of good rages that we have there, so hopefully he'll use one of those good ones there. Mantadea is a pretty good one for Wind Slash.
So since we're in Serpent Trench, could I ask a question from a more experienced player? Is there any particular route in Serpent Trench that you should take, like as far as the 2 left-right choices?
Yeah, so what I usually do, the quickest way through the Serpent Trench is to go right first and then left. So going right will give you 2 battles and 1 chest. Going left first will give you 3 battles. So that's just the difference there. And then on the second choice, if you go right again, it's a much, much longer walk to a second chest. So it's preferable to take the extra fight and go left. So you can get up to 5 fights in the Serpent Trench in as little as 3.
And that sets it apart a bit from how the changes to Leet River, where I think Leet River is now just fixed 4 battles, and so it doesn't matter quite as much where directions you go.
I mean, unless you pick up on the second time, and we're not holding down the we're not holding down the A button with a rubber band or anything this time, right?
Oh yeah, we're definitely doing a different level, and that was a great find from Serpent Trench. The Golem is a calmness protection. It's an Esper. That really is going to be, just something that really gives Glue some more confidence for getting into the late game.
Yeah, so it looks like we also have a dance with a landslide on it, which is going to be really, really nice. So we potentially have multiple instances of landslide, because I believe that there was a natural Luridin rage, which is also landslide. So a lot of great non-elemental damage out of your 2 abilities there. Unfortunately, Setzer being dead means that he doesn't receive any of the XP, the delicious goods from that fight. So we'll see if we can get him back up and do some more.
Another thing is that Glue, having the extra Gao, is able to use that Gao to hold the curse shield and is slowly getting that thing uncursed. Whereas Lunar Chimera is still on 3 characters and does not have the curse shield currently equipped on any of them.
Yeah, what was it, 10?
It was 10.
10 is borderline for me, especially with the changes to now allow Ultima back into the Seed, so you can start to learn the Ultima spell at a 1x rate on anyone who has that shield uncursed. But it's going to take you almost half the Seed to uncurse it, and then it's going to take you an additional third of the Seed to learn the spell. So you won't learn Ultima for very long. Thankfully, it has 250 4 MP, so you're going to need to level your characters up to get there anyway. And it looks like Lunar Chimera smartly learned Ice on one of his characters here, which is the weakness of Rexol, besides physical attacks.
And I think Glue is in South Figaro Cave and actually unequipped the Moogle charm to get a level or two.
Yeah, so we do give our runners Moogle charms that they could allow to skip the random encounters, or you could take it off and have the random encounters. It makes sense for him wanting to uncurse the shield, and with Gal with a heal rod, he's going to attack your own party, but since you equip him with the heal rod, then that's quite okay. I love this strat if you could find a heal rod, and if you don't have a ribbon or a peace ring.
And do you like Lunar Chimera's chances against the Rexol now with all the extra levels and the extra spell?
Yeah, he'll be fine. This is going to take a little bit. You know, the thing with this is we're still doing speedrun, right? So we want to beat these bosses as fast as humanly possible. Being in the back row, oh no, I believe he's in the front row, never mind. So Rexol, unlike in the vanilla game, doesn't possess the soul of one of your characters. We decided against that mechanic in Worlds Collide for cases where if you fight Rexol in Kefka's Tower and he possesses your one character that's actually good, that's pretty much a game over, you know, on that path.
And I'm assuming that Glue is doing the World of Bounds South Figaro Cave because that is a lock check, whereas World of Ruin South Figaro Cave is an Edgar check, and I don't think we have Edgar yet.
Correct, and we also have a healing pod at the end of this too, before you fight the boss. So he's gaining levels, uncursing shield, fighting the boss. That is Shote there for Lunar Chimera. I didn't see if Setzer was dead or not again. Setzer might just be a corpse that we're just dragging along at this point here. It's like Weekend at Bernie's on the left side and uncursing the shield on the right side.
Yeah, if this was the Final Fantasy IV randomizer, I'd assume that we were just anchoring with Setzer, but that's not a thing, you know, Worlds Collide, so...
No. So, Sonic, let's see if maybe I got your mic going well again. Can you give us some thoughts here that you have?
Okay, did that get through to everyone else? While we're waiting to hear back on how that went,
that didn't work. I'm just gonna I'm gonna wait until I get some other guidance on the official channel as to why that's not working. I don't understand it. We could hear him fine in Discord, but we just can't hear him on stream, giving these great commentary insights. And it is Marshall and a couple of dinosaurs here.
Yeah, it's simultaneous fights too, because it looks like Lunar Chimera skipped over to take this fight as well.
Yeah, so Marshall will open with basically net, which is the equivalent of stop, so basically your character can't do anything. And Tyrannosaurs are kind of ugly. So in Worlds Collide, we replaced the two ads that Marshall usually has. They're a couple of wolves, right? We replaced them with some other more difficult enemies to kind of beef this boss up a little bit, because there's a lot of just tutorial bosses that you're supposed to fight, and this is one of them here.
Yeah, and there can be some really nasty things. How on the scale of nastiness, how bad are the Tyrannosaurs?
They're probably one of the worst ones to have with Marshall. There are Ogres, which can inflict up to 2 instances of zombie per turn. So if you have 2 of them, they can essentially zombie your whole team before you even know it. And then there are some other flying beepity bops that will do level 4 flare and level 5 doom if you're, you know, if you want to get killed by math, essentially. So yeah, Sonic saying with gold hairpin earrings, Ultima X magic, that could be a big blue bubble seed. I concur there.
We do see the Glue going towards the World of Ruin Opera House, so it looks like we are going to get a dragon hunt after all.
Yeah, so dragons are scaled similarly to the bosses. They will give you a boatload of XP, 50 magic points, which will help towards learning that Ultima spell. and will also drop a high tier item as in addition to their normal drops. So there's a lot of good stuff that you can get from dragons if you can overcome them here, and we'll see what Glue has. Meanwhile, Lunar Chimera really leaning on that dance with Landslide. Sets are dead again.
Yep. So we got Phoenix from that check, and looks like Gao is still in fact cursed. So we still have a few more fights to get that uncursed. So we're not going to immediately learn Big Blue from the Paladin Shield just yet, but that does seem to be part of the plan eventually. And we do have that looks like World of Balance Opera House check for Celeste's check on Lunar Chimera side. So same location, different worlds. How do you like this?
Yeah, I like the Opera House, especially for Lunar Chimera. He needs to get Setzer off of level 3 if he wants to have Setzer as any part of his party. And getting off of level 3 means taking some grind fights, and that's what we'll find before the Opera House. We do find an experience egg, a juicy, juicy egg for Drinks Glue there from the Opera House Dragon, and thankfully it was the Red Dragon weak to our Ice 3 spell that we've gotten. So that is a relatively free experience egg there for Drinks Glue.
So,
Gonna put that on one of his characters to juice them up a bit.
So, in your opinion, looking at who Glue currently has, who would you put the experience egg on?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know if we have access to an Atma weapon or a Blitz user at this point. I don't think we do. So I would go with whoever is going to be doing physical attacks. It looks like Celeste's going to be swinging that Illumina, because physical attacks get exponentially more powerful as you level up in Worlds Collide, just due to the way the damage formula works, whereas magic attacks will scale linearly with your levels.
You know, we have searched the skies and we have found a flying Yeti, so that's not
That's a thing.
today.
Get your dabbing Yetis out in the chat if you got them. And here is one of those fights that can get really nasty. That Sky Base can inflict blaster on basically your entire crew and give you a death by math there if you're not careful. Let's get Setzer back up.
If that's the plan here, we need to focus on getting Setzer up. But it may be that Lunar Chimera is just trying to get through this to get to the check. We do have an looks like an Esper from the Search the Skies though. That is Tritalk.
Nice.
I mean, we can definitely see why Glue is in sort of at the top of his pod just from like the stuff he's been doing.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got his eyes on the prize here with the strategies. I think if it was me, I would try to find my characters more, unless he feels comfortable like, hey, this is going to be my end game party with Locke with the Ragnarok, Celeste with the Illumina, and I'm not quite sure what Setzer and Gao are really doing. Well, we know what Gao's doing. He's spinning in circles and hitting some people with a heal rod.
And we did see him do the Serpent Trench check, so I'm not sure if I didn't quite see if we did the Veld check already. But normally in Worlds Collide, checking deep with your new characters is the way you find new characters, and Gao was the new character, so I was wondering if he was trying to do Serpent Trench also to find another character.
Yeah, no, Serpent Trench, I think he did for both levels and finding another character. We do not have the Velt check yet. Maybe he hasn't found dried meat with his shopping, and you also need to put your party down to a party of 3 when you do the Velt. So perhaps that's what he's waiting for, to recruit another character to shimmy his party there.
Yeah, Lunar Chimera is not bringing Setzer up, so it looks like may just toss Setzer out as soon as we find a new character.
Yep. That's fine. That's just going to unfortunately set him back here, because the more characters that you have to deal damage, the faster fights are going to go.
Yeah, and I don't remember exactly which character had what, but whatever command Setzer had is no longer on the table for Chimera with this. And so hopefully we do know that Gao is at, of all places, Phoenix Cave, but we haven't seen any further ones.
Yeah, so Sky Bases will counter magic attacks with Blaster, and that's what you saw Celeste getting bodied by right there. Yeah, I think Rage was what Setzer had, if I'm not mistaken. So
Well,
it's useful early in the game, and it's very useful later on if you get things like Cat Scratch and some of the really high-end rages. There is a few good rage options, including Luridon's Landslide, Mantidia's Wind Slash. So we had a couple of good, magical attacks. One really powerful single target, one AoE attack that usually wins. There's not a lot of monsters that absorb or nullify wind. So
yeah, and we do see that Setzer is now the one spinning, so it looks like he that Glue decided he wants Gao doing something else, and I think Gao had X magic.
Oh, God. We also had Shrapnel as another AoE non-elemental attack. I think Gao learning Bolt 2, as Sonic correctly points out in the chat, is the way to go here, because you just saw what that Bolt 2 did to that Air Force, and thankfully Setzer is going to gobble up a ton of XP here, so maybe he might start being useful to Lunar Chimera after all. This is a check that we haven't seen yet, am I correct? Glue didn't do this.
Yeah, Glue has not done the Opera House yet. I mean, Glue did the World of Ruin Opera House to get that dragon, but we do have another item or Esper that was not a character, unfortunately.
And let's see what we get here. It is Terato. So if there are some good spells on it, that will put Lunar Chimera at an interesting advantage, because I don't think Glue is going to go do that check. It's a little bit on the longer side, and it's probably not one that he's going to do. We have a Miranda sighting. Gar must be in the chat. Lunar Chimera heading to Miranda. This is a town that we very rarely see. There's only an armor shop and a weapon shop, so
And
that's
2
usually
item
why we
boxes.
don't see it. There it is. He's the people's champ, even if he doesn't win this race. But truth be told here, it's still anybody's match, because we still only have 4 characters. So Glue in the bit of a lead in terms of levels and progression, but until you find go mode, that's the fun thing about Worlds Collide, is that sometimes it's difficult to tell who's in the lead.
Yeah, and this has been, we got Raiden, the Magicite Raiden, so that's 7 Espers now for Glue. So possibly skipping that Opera House might not be quite as big of a deal. And again, like you said, the really important thing right now is trying to get those last characters in order to hit go mode. And this seed has been very stingy with the characters. I mean, Gao at Phoenix Cave is not a usual check, and so it was pretty interesting. Like, it was a very good sort of experimental play for Glue to go and get that, because that did put him on 4 characters pretty much from the beginning. But there just hasn't been any other characters yet, and I'm not sure where they might be hiding at this point.
Yeah, so chat, you can help us out where you think the next character is. We've got a couple of options for us here. We've got Magitech Factory number 3, because we haven't gone through all that, as Lunar Chimera picks up a couple of Thunder Rods there. We also have Kefka Norsh, everybody's favorite non-character gated check that might be a character. And then we have the Velt here, which is where Glue is going. So I believe those are the only options that we haven't seen yet.
And which character would you personally want to see come up next?
I want to see... Well, I like Gao is my favorite character in Worlds Collide, but since we already have Gao, that's not an option. Let's go with Sabin here. Oh! It is not. It is, another S-sounding hero, and it is Cyan.
Cyan has plenty of checks, some really great ones for mid-game, especially the Doma Dream. If any of our characters have sword tech, that he unlocks sword tech for us. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a great find for character number 5.
Didn't see what his ability was. I don't think Glue even bothered to check, and now he is. It's just Morph. So Cyan with Morph, gonna ride the bench with that 28 magic power. Not gonna be put into the party at this point. The thing with Cyan's Dream is it's 3 checks, but only the second one can be a character. So I think if I'm Glue with my totals here at 7 characters, 7 Espers rather, and 5 characters, I think I avoid Dream at all costs. And here is yet another character.
Yep, we got 6 now. That's Terra.
Jeez Louise, and drinks Glue at 34 minutes into... Oh, no.
Not the fight you want to have at Doma Defense.
No, not at all. So we'll see how this one shakes out here with one of the statues, Goddess. Let's see if we can nab a Minerva off of her. Though.
I mean, on the other hand, it's nice to know that you won't be fighting Goddess in Kefka's Tower, so that's a plus.
Yes. Lunar Chimera seeing it's only 25,000 for the Zen Thief in the World of Balance. Glue definitely paid more in the World of Ruin. He also was paying for that Minerva skill right there as Locke hits the deck. At least we know that Celeste can wear that Minerva, so that's a great piece of equipment for her.
Now, now where would we need like Lunar Chimera to go now? Because that Scion came off of Gao, who was at Phoenix Cave. But is there any other options for Lunar Chimera, or is Lunar going to have to figure out, okay, I got to go check Phoenix Cave now?
If we don't get a character at Magitech 3, Lunar Chimera is in a lot of trouble, because it looks like that's where he's going next, is Magitech Factory number 3, or Magitech Factory. It's a 3-part check. The first 2 parts are Esper item only, and the 3rd part can reward either a character or Esper. So this has got to be a character here. Otherwise, I think that's a hole that Lunar Chimera can't possibly dig himself out of at this point.
And again, it's useful to point out that they are still in competition with the other 4 racers in their pod. So it's not, even though this is the head-to-head, Lunar Chimera could still be able to find something that gets them past some of those other runners.
Yeah. So Drinks Glue is having a heck of a time here with Goddesses. Sonic points out multiple times Locke has been down, and Locke also does not survive this battle here, but he will get Terra, and Terra has 5 additional checks with her, so we've got a lot of options open to us as far as where we go for our last 2 Espers.
I was going to say the same thing. Like right now, Glue only needs 2 Espers, and you've got the rest of Science stuff and the rest, all of Terra's stuff open now.
So I don't know if you guys briefly mentioned this at the top, but we do have a Kefka Tower skip if we get 9 characters or 12 Espers, or if we complete 21 checks. And Drinks Glue right now is at 12 checks. So I don't think skip is going to be in his mind here, but at 37 minutes, we're flying. To be that close to go mode is an obscene time.
And we do have going in for the Dream now.
Yeah, and here we see Lunar Chimera hopping into Magitech Factory. Setzer has been alive for 3 fights now, with that one in the shed healing him up. So,
and as you said, Magitech Factory is probably the best out that Chimera has before having to find the Phoenix Cave Gao.
Yeah, Phoenix Cave for your progression in characters is a bit rough, as that is a location that if you want to come back to it to take on the dragon, perhaps you want to do with at least 4 or 5 characters. And we do have Haydn and the Hyde Knights here, everybody's favorite Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide jazz band. Unlike in the vanilla game, we can't just drop a life spell or a revivify on Haydn, because we have turned off the undead property of all of the bosses. We actually have to fight them this time.
And what are Haydn's weaknesses, if any?
So Haydn is weak to Pearl and Fire, and Gar said it in the chat, do Quake. Haydn is actually weak to Earth as well, so if you have the Tirado Esper summon, or if you want to kill yourself and the boss, you can cast Quake.
I mean, if you can float yourself first, then that's probably a very sound strategy. But, meanwhile, we do have Dullahan on the as I believe the Esper spot in Magitech facility. So, and the Esper spot can be either an item or an Esper, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so the first 2 spots are Esper items. So Lunar Chimera is just hoping to get to the back of Magitech Factory to get his 3rd character as fast as possible here.
And if you can also hit 2 extra Espers on the way, that sets you up pretty well.
Yeah, that's for sure. Setzer using the Tyrannosaur Rage that we got from killing Marshall and his minions. That's a Medio. And that's also a jumping Edgar through the train. So that's a 7th character there for Drinks Glue. And that also opens up a couple of, opens up a free check on the Figaro throne that you can easily go and check to see if it's an Esper. Sets her down again for Lunar Chimera.
Yeah, it really does seem like right now that Gal was gating like all the other stuff, because that's Edgar and Terra off of science checks, and then Cyan was of course on the Veld.
All right, so we are riding around in the Magitech armor here. Fun fact, if you take off the Moogle charm with the Magitech armor on in this part of Cyan's Dream, you do some grind fights, you actually get the Magitech command on your characters when you do some fights. It may look a little glitchy, but it certainly works.
Okay, so that could be a useful thing if you need a few extra levels.
All right, Dullahan is down, and Setzer did survive double-digit HP. And that is an Esper there for Lunar Chimera, ticking off that box. Yeah, so excellent question why Glue decided to go to Cyan's Dream. Well, Cyan's Dream has one guaranteed piece of progression here in the middle, and he's just hoping that he could have gone Esper maybe, and then left the throne item behind, because yes, it's technically 3 checks, but the 3rd check, you don't really have to do anything. You just go up to the throne and grab it.
I think Cyan's Dream is probably one of my favorite checks, just because I can go do the defense, immediately swap worlds, go do Dream. That's like 4 checks done with maybe 3 bosses, some level, some progression, some grind fights. It's, I think, an all-around just great sort of like science stuff in general. It's just really great.
Yeah, the Dream does take a little bit. It's about 5 minutes in total for these 3 checks. We do not have a character with sword tech, that is, unless Edgar has it, because we didn't see what was on Edgar. I don't even think we saw what was on Terra either. And let's see, there is an Esper on the throne in the throne room. It was a dead first check. I didn't quite see what it was. But Gar pointing out in the chat that Drinks Glue picked the Illumina over the Esper at the Narsh weapon shop. So if he goes to the Welk spot, even if the Welk spot is a dead check, he can still grab the Esper behind Welk, which was our other choice at the Narsh weapon shop.
So we do suspect Glue is more or less in go mode, assuming you just go fight Welk spot.
Meanwhile, Rosopus and the Piranhas, my favorite punk band in Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide here. Really not a whole heck of a lot going on for this fight. It's just wait either 5 to 55 seconds, and then Rosopus comes out, and then you could beat him with the heavy stick.
This is the second Magitech facility check, so we have to just go through a cutscene, then go down the tracks, fight whatever. I believe it's like 3 fixed encounters and then a boss fight. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And unfortunately, it's a dragon horn there at the second spot. Go ahead.
And then I was just going to say, then there's one more boss fight for the final check.
Yeah, so there are 3 fixed encounters and a boss on the minecart, and then you get a story heal after you fight a second, or right before rather, you fight the second boss, which is the cranes in the vanilla game, and it is one of our tentacled friends, the mascot of our league, Ultros here.
That was Ultros 1, if I'm correct.
Yeah, because it didn't have the tentacles showing, and that was so fast I barely even saw it. We are unlocking Kefka there at 44 minutes and 10 seconds, blazing fast there.
Yeah, and Glue is not even going back into the Welk's cave to get that other Esper because it's wholly unnecessary.
That's interesting to me, because I would think that if I go pick up that Esper, maybe I go rush to the end of the sealed gate cave and go and rush the Figaro throne. If I get those 2 Espers, that means I have skip, which means I save like 7 or 8 minutes in Kefka's tower. But Glue is not messing around. He's going straight there now.
Yeah, and we're at 45 minutes, so the Glue clearly has a plan, and we already know Glue has Golem, so calmness is not an issue. I didn't see about any of the other sort of things you want to look out for, like for mute and some of the like instant death stuff for some of the final bosses, but I think Glue is probably going to be in a fairly good spot. And now and it does look like Blue did divide up the team to try and go ahead and just get this all done in one sweep. We do have some different people mixed together, so that is Cyan and Locke taking the group 1 checks, which I believe is just going to go and run down and hit some switches and go.
Ooh. There's a nice ice shield at the last minute in the chest there for Glue. Yeah, so what we usually do is we usually put one of our strong party in Party 1, one of our strong characters in Party 2, and 2 of our strong characters in Party 3, because they're going to be fighting the most bosses. They're going to be fighting basically 3 of them.
It looks like Blue is trying to get some levels on either Gao or Edgar. I saw an experience egg go on one of them, but I didn't quite catch who. And obviously there is no Moogle charm, so we're just taking some random encounters to get some extra levels.
Yeah, this is a weird play. If I wanted to get extra levels on somebody, I would put everybody into Party 3 and take out the Inferno boss, and then take out the dragon afterwards, and then re-warp back in. It's a little bit extra walking, but it gets XP on your entire party, and you already have to kill the Inferno spot anyway, right? So it's just awkward, and this is not a fight you want to run into. No thanks. See you later. Lunar Chimera's Setzer is dead again. Surprise, surprise.
Okay, and we're about to see if this pays off.
All right, so I'm gonna have to dip out here, Sonic. I know that your volume is all screwed up, as it is not a character; it is an Esper there at the end of the Magitech Factory. So I'm gonna leave you guys to it, and hopefully something gets fixed on the other end. But yeah, thanks guys for doing comms. And,
all right,
you guys have the tracking available, so have at it, and I'll catch you guys later.
Okay, and so we do see that the Cheddar Nook has shown up at the end of the Magitech facility, so we got to fight the cheese boss. Basically, fire melts cheese, fire burns paper. That's all you have to know about that. And we do see Glue approaching a dragon, but then switching parties. So we're going to see what the plan is here. And Lunar Chimera still is only on 3 characters, unfortunately, so does need to... if this did not pay off, I don't know if anyone checked like Kefka and Narsh yet, because I believe that may be another option for getting a character, but it does seem like a lot of the answers may just be Phoenix Cave, and Glue checked that fairly early. So we're about to see the Inferno fight as well. Or not, we're going to see the dragon said, Glue sort of just flying between the different groups. And that's a dirt dragon. And it does look like Lunar Chimera is having a bit of trouble with the Cheddar Nook. I know the name's not that, I just like calling it that. But we do... Let's see, and we got ice coming out on the dirt dragon, and presumably still trying to get levels, or I wonder actually if one of them also has like the paladin shield equipped, and we're trying to also get some magic points for getting the big blue out. This Chatternook fight does not seem to, I don't know how, like it seems like it's been going on for a while. We're going to go ahead and see. I should point out also, I don't have chat open, so I'm unfortunately not really able to answer any questions at the moment, but I could try and get that open in a bit. But
I have the chat open for you, Joker, so don't worry. If chat can't hear me, at least they can hear you, and I can at least assist you.
all right, thank you for that. Has there been any interesting comments from chat?
Sadly, not many people are talking, but oh my god, they can hear me now. What? Literally nothing has changed whatsoever on anyone's settings, so...
Hey, Sonic, welcome back.
This doesn't make any sense at all. Literally, nothing.
All right, as long as they can hear you, let's just keep talking. So yeah, we got the Inferno fight. Cheddar is down, so Lunar Chimera does get to finish that check. We're going to see what is at the end of that.
Hey Gar, have you ever seen Celebrity Jeopardy with Saturday Night Live when Nicolas Cage was on it? They've got lights, they've got cameras, bitchin' technology.
And we do have a Vargas fight here. I think this is... I didn't quite see where this was at. This might be the Toilet Atma, but I'm not sure. It could also...
No, I did see Glue run right by Toilet Atma, just saying nope, because that was Edgar Gaw Party. I think this might be the Inferno spot.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We did see this. So this is Inferno. Not a bad fight to have at Inferno. They can do some damage sometimes, but I'm almost never scared of Vargas.
Oh, no, definitely not. Though I will tell you, at the statue spot, those bears, they can one-shot people. I swear to God, I've seen them throw out a bite or a claw, whatever it is they do, for over 3K. That's scary. Just one shot. Yeah, see, as Pero says, those Ipoos, oh boy, they can do some work. Vargas just kind of sits there and doom fists you and just waits. Because again, it's a scripted fight, right? Like, he's only supposed to do certain things, waiting for Sabin to come in to pummel him, and then it's over.
Yeah, we got a gold dragon at the other dragon spot that's currently being taken care of. It looks like Lunar Chimera has not actually purchased the Zen Thief Esper yet, but we do know that is available for around 25 to 30,000. Oh, Search the Skies. We saw this earlier, and we do know it's an Esper.
And that's what Gar was saying is Claw. Claw is what the Ipoos use. Is that up to like a point or a ×8 multiplier on its base damage. So at a statue location, it could just tears through somebody real quick because it ignores defense, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, but apart from Phoenix Cave, the only other character check that really Lunar Chimera has, it would be Kefka and Narsh, right? Or is there another that I'm not thinking of?
I believe that's it.
And so we do want, hopefully we'll see Lunar Chimera head to one of those spots shortly. Meanwhile, Glue is through the second dragon, got another experience egg. I guess there is a use for it. Was not expecting that.
Well, because he's going to send them down the middle lane, right? So they still have 2 big fights to go through. I mean, that could add an extra 2 to 3 levels.
Okay,
easy.
okay.
It makes sense, and it's a quick swap in and out. It's not like he has to juggle items around or anything. He just quick on and off.
I believe that does put Lunar Chimera to 9 Espers. Because I think that was Tritalk. And we do see the Phoenix Cave play now.
It always feels bad to be trapped at 3 characters, especially when one kept dying. You really hope to replace them ASAP and not at the end.
And we'll certainly see what's behind all the switches on Glue's side. And this is still a pretty good time. We're at only 55 minutes approximately.
And Pero making a good note here that this pathing that Glue is choosing to do right now is a really big risk. And now, this is what Glue likes to do recently, though, as of this past month that I've noticed, is he likes to make these plays to cut more and more time off. especially if he feels like he has the offense to do it. You know,
Yeah,
but these statue bosses are no joke. They every now and then they can get a really random roll and pull a big punch for you.
we have only seen one statue boss so far, the goddess at Dome of Defense, so there is still the possibility for 2 statues in statue spots. And I don't think we've seen Guardian yet either, so Guardian could be at one of the vanilla or vanilla adjacent spot as well.
Did you see Maggie Master hiding anywhere as well?
I have not. There's plenty of jokes that this seed could have for us.
Exactly. And let's see, we're going to find out what Goddess is holding. Third Behemoth. All right, you know, as Schwanz likes to call him, Sriracha Behemoth.
The Senor Behemoth.
Pretty spicy over here. Pretty easily taken out. And if there's did Glue do all of M-Tech?
Glue, I don't think did any M-Tech.
Yeah, so he doesn't have X for easy kill on phase 2 on Great Behemoth, but
it's entirely. I think he's relying a lot on Gao's X magic there.
some random behemoth as under light type, says in chat. But we all do know, as Pero says, it is truly Senor Behemoth.
And actually, I was not paying attention, but we are actually up on 3 dragons on Glue's side, so let's just update that real quick. And again, with only 3 characters and having to split them up, oh, I guess Lunar does decide to fight a dragon. All right, let's see how this goes. I mean, this could actually work out.
Ooh, but he chose to use an Ice 3 against the blue dragon when...
Bolt, isn't it?
Yeah, the bolt's gonna do equal damage, if not a little bit more than the Ice 3 will, due to its vulnerability to the bolt. It's got a quicker cast animation as well, plus lower NP cost, so...
Right, and that's one statue down on the Glue side. And we knew that wasn't going to be vanilla Goddess because we already saw Goddess. But we still have 3 spots of interest to look at.
Yeah, luckily it didn't matter much at all because the blue dragon's HP pool was still small enough that it went down in 2 spells. So I mean, literally only lost like 4 seconds by choosing to use the Ice 3 over Bolt 2. Now,
right.
If Blue Dragon had tried to do some craziness like clean sweep into El Nino and Water's Edge, like it could have gone really hairy.
And we do have Doomgaze at the Guardian spots. It looks like they dodged the initial L5 Doom, which is good, but we still have to get through the rest of him.
And luckily he's got that Pearl Rod, so hopefully this will be quad 9s or high. Yep, quad 9s.
And Lunar Chimera is about to get Gao.
So Doomgaze is almost dead, right? He's probably only got 7 to 12k left. Vini's already took about 20.
So you and I know that Lunar Chimera just needs to get some dried meat, grab Cyan, and then go grab either Terra or Edgar from Doma Castle, and then we'll have go mode. But it's going to be a matter of Lunar Chimera, finding that dried meat and then going. But it looks like Lunar Chimera is at the Veld right now.
And we know where the dried meat is in one shop, right? But
well, it definitely got bought. I'm not sure if I was paying attention exactly to where it got bought from, but we did see it get bought, and we did see Cyan come out of that check.
It was in Albrook Balance or Ruin, I believe, because Glue. It was funny because they were both in Albrook at the same time, but one of them was in Ruin and one of them was in Balance.
There has been a lot of that going on this particular race. So Glue is through the Guardian spot now. Terra did go down, but Terra was also a recent addition, so probably not as vital to the overall plan.
And I think Pero said, or Gar said, Inferno is at the Doom spot. Do we know that for sure? And did Glue already peek the Doom spot, or is he
I don't think we saw. I don't think we've seen Doom spot just yet.
I think
But
he's just
we'll check.
predicting. And there he goes, leader down in one shot. Doesn't even get to do his counterattack axe because Celis just took him down.
Okay, so apart from that Doom Gaze, this has so far been a fairly easy statue section.
Gar's predicting because he seems to find Inferno at the Doom spot pretty often. I'm gonna say, well, what is the worst boss for Glue to face there? With
Master, maybe?
who he has Silent Lock over there? Yeah, Maggie Master would be pretty rough.
Okay, and we do see Lunar Chimera did not find the dried meat, unfortunately, but is doing the Serpent Trench check. I believe there was an Esper at the end of this. I don't remember exactly which one, but we'll get a second chance once Chimera is done.
Oh, he's got an easy fight here, though. Though Ifrit is nothing to scoff at. He can do some wild damage at a statue spot.
I mean, as long as we got ice spells or some other way to just like take advantage, like just do a lot of damage to him, it shouldn't be too rough.
Yeah, the flare will do its job. Everything else, sadly, that is at Glue's disposal and lock will not. Ooh, but Flare Star, yeah, that's non-elemental damage, so that does some work. Although he whips on the Valiant Knife now to close that gap.
Yeah,
If
very,
again
very
with
smart.
a low HP pool.
That is too low of an HP pool, however, so we'll have to go do that fight again.
As we were saying, Flare Star is fire, Pero does say. So I guess we might see some tech and switching the Paladin shield over to Lock, as Gar called, and
Yep.
then we'll have no issue getting through this fight whatsoever. Yep,
Yeah.
there we go.
And Lunar Chimera is still working through Serpent Trench, which we know is not the answer, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll be able to find that dried meat somewhere, maybe even in the Kia. I don't know if anyone even checked the shops there.
I don't remember seeing what was there, but you know, hopefully Lunar will find some luck here.
I mean, there is always going to be Kefka and Narsh, so
That is very true.
I don't think I don't think anyone's seen Kefka and Narsh yet. Maybe some of the people, others in their pod who have already erased this, check that. But that's okay. Yeah, okay. It was Locke who had the shield, so I always saw Cyan down. I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. But no, yeah, that's fine. That's exactly what we want to have happen on Blue side.
And this is what you hate to see about this fight, is Enoch will go ahead and throw out Brain Blast and confuse someone, and then Ortiz will counterattack with Double Arm over and over and over again, and then he'll Death Attack with Double Arm as well. Just eats up so much of your time.
Now, I know I'm a joker and you're a jester, but I think we have to have very shortly are going to come up against a guy who really just loves laughing at his own jokes. So what is your prediction for this very shortly upcoming Kefka fight?
Ooh. You know, looking at Glue's gear, he doesn't have any crazy, offense, right? He just has good offense on every character. Nothing that breaks the bank, right? So I'm gonna say we're gonna probably have around an average time 8.5 minutes, right? It's not gonna be quick, not want to be one of his 6.5 minute runs through the tower. But if things go poorly on tier 2, I didn't get to see too much of the Espers and whatnot.
I know they have gold.
The audio, but do we have mute?
I don't know about mute. All I know is that Lunar Chimera did pick up Golem from Serpent Trench, and Drinks Glue did that much earlier. So calmness is, they have calmness protection. I know that much. As far as anything else, I did not see anything. But
it's more tier 2, right? If you don't have mute, right? If you don't have instant death for tier 2, you know, like let's say you only have one Esper, one Odin or anything, use it for tier 1, right? Tier 2, if you have bolt, few bolts will take out tools and then you don't have to worry about it, right? But mute, if you don't have mute, it could make tier. I had my tier 2 for Ultra League this week. I think it was a 10-minute tier 2 alone.
We do have X Zone, so instant death is on the table. And it hits
first time. Look at that. That's so beautiful. Oh, but then he gets hit with the R polarity, which again only has a 33% chance of firing every time you come up against tier 1. So if it fires on you, that's just, you just rolled some bad dice. Because that takes a whole turn to recover from right there.
And it does look like Lunar Chimera is, instead of shopping for dried meat, is going to go ahead and check Kefka and Narsh. So we'll see if this is an out and does lead to another character.
I do like that play though, because if you haven't found the dried meat in a pot or somewhere by now and can't remember seeing it, I mean, you could spend 4 to 5 minutes looking for that dried meat when you could have done 2 checks by that time.
And that is Realm. So Kefka and Narsh was in fact an out for anyone who did not get dried meat or did not do Phoenix Cave.
It's good to see. You know, you never like to run up to Narsh when you don't have anybody. But I remember when I first started playing Worlds Collide, when it was the 2-character start, and a lot of times you didn't really have a choice but to run up to Kefka and Narsh and do the one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
So
I was just going to say, Drinks Glue is pulling out the big blue button. It's already through head as well. So, it's already through tier 1 as well. So here's where we're going to find out if the mute is going to be a concern or not.
And I understand why he took the time investment to cast the bubble there, because short arm will physically counterattack every time you do damage to him when he's left alone. So using just one ultimate to do him 10k damage, break all of his defense, take that one counterattack, it'll actually save you more time.
Yeah. And Lunar Chimera did smoothly get through that last gauntlet and is now facing just an Atma weapon between him and Realm.
You know, which if you're going to go against any Atma, you'd rather be the weapon, right? Because you don't have to worry about Illumina's proccing. And look at that. Ooh, gotta love that. 40k damage on screen. Twice. Oh, we were predicted at the beginning of the seed with that gold hairpin. Well, Pero, you gotta remember to take off that 8 points, right?
I don't know if we know how many checks Lunar Chimera is at right now, but we are still going to be looking for one character and probably going to be doing Realms checks. So World of Ruin Giant Door and World of Balance Esper Cave.
Yeah, I imagine he'll run straight to the Esper Cave because it's a quick peek, and if it isn't a character, you quickly switch over to the World of Ruin. You don't even have to warp out. You just turn right around, run out.
I think we're seeing 10 hits.
Sorry about that.
I was just saying, I think we just saw 10 hits there, which is the death counter from one of the bosses on this tier.
Oh, and I thought that was his death counter, but it was not. He quartered as a counterattack, and Magic, if you do not mute him, every time you attack him, he can counterattack with a quarter, a dispel, and then immediately go into another spell afterwards. So he threw out the quarter, unluckily, hit almost the whole team, and then Bolt 3 Gaw. Oof, that's a good, 30-second time loss right there. And here he goes again. Luckily, it missed everybody. Oh, but this could be his death counter.
If he does them both, yep. No, it wasn't. See, and this is why mute is so critical. Look how much time he is eating up right here.
Yeah, and I'm guessing we just didn't see mute on any of the. Oh well, this is going to pay off for Chimera because that was Go-Go.
Do you have control of the audio? Can you switch over to Glue?
That should do it. The audio, I think, is on the tracker.
Oh, I apologize for that.
No worries, I got it. But yeah,
So if we have
just
a Merton opener. This could be. Oh no, Pero called it. Oh, luckily
Merton is doing
you're
nothing.
around perfectly. So actually, there is nothing that he could do outside of Medio that could take Glue down right now. So as long as Glue staggers his offense just right, he doesn't even have to heal for this fight. All he has to do is make sure he can cast his spells and cast Golem or Fenrir.
Okay, and Lunar Chimera is now unlocked Final Kefka. So I don't know what the checks counter is at for Lunar Chimera. We are at 10 Espers. I don't know if you... I think it's going to just be go ahead and go for it, but if there's enough... if they're close enough, they might go ahead and try and get Skip.
I wonder why he's running... Maybe he's looking for a piece of offense? He doesn't have too much gold. See, whenever I hit go mode, I'm hesitant to even stop at an item shop. Now, when I first started playing, I would check how much gold I had, look how much, inventory I had to sell, and I would go to a shop and to make a note. Now, I just run straight to Kefka's Tower, and sometimes it bites me in the butt because I only have like 3 Phoenix Downs. I'm like, ooh, kind of wish I had.
We did see a Meteor come out on Blue's side, and Chimera is going straight to Tower. There is Calmness, and Gao just blocked it. Okay, that works too.
We don't have nobody more in chat sending in the times. Do we have the timestamp of when Glue's first bell ran off? Because we didn't have his audio up. I couldn't get the exact time. Uh-oh. Tara's laughing. His Kefka laugh at the timestamp.
That did seem like a fairly quick tier 3, however. That's about all I can say.
Oh yeah, with Gaw X Magic ultiming,
and the Murder not doing nothing.
1 sleep goes down in 3. It was really quick.
This tier 4 shouldn't be too rough, should it?
With Kefka wait, was that Gaw osmosing or Kefka osmosing?
I'm actually not sure.
I think it was Gaw osmosing. So yeah, I mean it's over right now. It was Gaw osmosing. Yeah, Gaul used Ultima and Osmosis on his X Magic. Kefka doesn't know Osmos.
And I do think Lunar Chimera is still making a pretty good time right now.
Oh, hands down he is. Especially with the hiccups that he went through and endured. If that happened to me, I'd probably be looking at like a 130, 140 closeout, easily.
And
with,
that's it. On Glue's side, that Kefka's gone.
Yeah, we called it. Did anybody get the time that he started? I think that was 7-8 minutes, right? Did we call it? Pretty close. Well, let's see if we can get Glue in here. I'm sure he's probably... Well, he hasn't shown up yet. So as soon as he's ready, we'll try to get him in here, get some commentary from him. There he is. Let's go. Glue, how you feeling, buddy? Congratulations.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy? How you feeling? Congratulations on the run.
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty good. I would like to give a shout out though to Poot Scooty. I just put my time in the room, and I think he set a PB this week because he had a 1:13.36 and he beat me by 45 seconds. So that's a fantastic time. That might be a PB for him if he's in here.
I have not seen him in chat, but yeah, I saw the times beforehand, and I was like, "Ooh, Glue, you have a time to beat this week." Like that was an amazing time that Poots put out. I really want to put his run up next to yours. Oh, there he is. He's here. He
My
said, "Thank
dog.
you, Glue. Good games, buddy."
So I think one of the things that really, gave you an early advantage was that Phoenix Cave check, which led to Gao, because we were talking about that, and that's not something a lot of people are going to do right away. So was that just sort of, I'm going to see if this pans out, or is this something you've been sort of experimenting with?
So when you have Lock, you have 2 free checks. One's a little longer than the other. When you have Celeste, you have 1 free check, and then when you have Zetsu, you have 1 free check. And I was really hoping one of them would be dead. And then when I found Gao, it was really awkward because then you have 1 more free check if you have dried meat. So it's better to go there early, rather than having to force to go there later. That way you can work some extra looting into your you can work some progression into your looting phase. So my hope was to go there, that one of them would be a character, one of them would be an Esper, and one of them would be dead, and then I could just go do Zetsu's check off to the left. I kind of routed it incorrectly. In that scenario, when you have three checks and then the weapon shop, you kind of want to do the 3 checks, and that way you go to the weapon shop. That way you see it's an Esper and Illumina. Then you take the Illumina. I think I had went to the weapon shop before Zetsu's check at the end. That way it puts you in an awkward situation, because what if you take the Illumina and then Zetsu's check wasn't dead? Whereas you want to do the reverse. You want to know you have 3 pieces of progression in the bag. That way you can comfortably take the Illumina or the Experience Egg or whatever it may be over an Esper. Because you really don't want to push progression up 4 pieces. You want to keep it at 3 before you take a battle, or else it can get really out of hand fast on you. So that's my thought process in that.
I feel you on that completely. You definitely don't want that level scaling to hit, 12, 14, 16 before you're ready to take it on, because then you could be at a wall, even in a grind spot, without some rods to take a grind fight to get that experience out.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sonic.
No, I was going to say, how are you feeling during Kefka's Tower?
I felt really discombobulated because everything was just off by a hair. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I was in Daryl's tomb, but I took the monster in a box. And that was because I was 9 fights for the Curse Shield and I needed 1 more. And rather than taking off the Mool Charm one more time, I thought I'm going to take this box, and if it's not a pug or a master pug, I'm going to kill it real fast, and I can start learning Ultima, because it was pretty late in the game where I was going to potentially not learn Ultima twice, because I already done the Opera House Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really have a pure path to 100 ability points twice. And then you saw when I went to Kefka's Tower with Gao needed 5 more AP to learn Ultima. And I did like 5 or 6 fights without the Moogle Charm, and I couldn't run into one that either wasn't going to kill me or didn't give AP. So it was just awkward timing all around, and then I was flopping around with experience eggs when I shouldn't have been. So you saw me menuing a lot. It was just It was that one. It just I was kind of off after that Daryl's Tomb, just because I don't
No,
know.
I feel you. You never really want to come across Master Pug unless you want to just steal from him and smoke bomb out of there real quick, right? So, I feel you there, and especially not having mute or siren for tier 2 magic eats up a lot of your time with counterattacks.
Yeah, and then Locke at some point right after I had switched to experience, I get on the Locke and he dies during the goddess fight, and that's the difference between him surviving that Ifrit fight or him dying at that point because he does one more
Yeah,
attack for
very
260, and he for 60 HP over what he has, and if he survives that goddess fight, he's level 40 and he's not level 35.
Yeah, now
Sign of the small things that kind of add
One
up
thing
throughout a
that-
speed when they go right and when they don't.
one thing that well, I was having technical difficulties for some reason. SpeedGaming's broadcaster wasn't picking up my mic, so I was just kind of lurking in the background and watching. But I heard Schwantz wonder what your checks were at the point that you dropped into tower, that you didn't maybe take your whole group in to just kill Inferno to get the AP and experience on your groups, because you were gonna not go for the skip and you were gonna split up, so you're gonna have to take that fight anyway, so why not just take it with everybody and then warp out?
Just because it was literally Ultima was at 95%, so he literally just needed one more, really 75% of the fights in the game get him that 5 AP and a random encounter. 2, when I left Dome of Dream, once I saw I was Edgar, I was at 7 Espers. And then I was at 14 checks. So the Throne and Edgar was going to be 15 and 16. I knew where an Esper was because I had Terra, and I knew where at Wellgate. So I had 2 chances at an Esper. I had 2 chances at an Esper if I go to Magic Tech, which I never went to. But because where I knew where an Esper was, and I had Gao didn't really get showcased, but Gao had over 100 magic power. And he just needed to learn Ultima. Because I had the gold hairpin, he's gonna have quad 9s. I just
Oh yeah, and you go through the chat. I called that early. I saw you find the gold hairpin. I saw the X magic. Saw you started cursing the curse shield with the heal rod, and I was like, "Oh, he's going for X magic Ultima gold hairpin for the win." And then there we saw it, the 80,000. Well, technically 79,992, right? Like,
yeah. And he had it on since level 3. I just never got him off the curse shield. My plan was to go through the trench and then switch to the Zetzer, the curse shield, and let him start doing bolt 2. But then I realized he didn't have bolt 2, so I just kept it on him. But he was sitting there with 80 magic power at some point, uncursing the shield, and I just didn't have to get it off him because I was still killing stuff so easily. So I just kind of left it there, just for a time save, and then once the shield was uncursed, it was just get Ultima on him, but just in that time between then and there, I just never got it. And then the time too, trying to find dried meat the entire time. I visited every item shop in the world of balance except for Albrook, and I didn't find it, and that was just awkward. Well, that and the Phantom Train Ghost.
So, yeah, but then you went to Albrook and then found it, right?
Yeah, of course.
I remember.
The Albrook and the World of Ruin had it.
Oh,
So this is
see, what was funny is you and Lunar were both in Albrook at the same exact time, but one of you was in balance and one of you was in ruin. And I was wondering why both of you were there, and then I saw you were on your dried meat hunt. It was really funny. I did have a question for you. In tier 3, when he opened up with Merton and you knew that Merton wasn't going to kill you, there was, like, you spent a few turns healing everybody up. Though you skipped Fallen 1 and didn't take any damage, is there a reason why you spent the time healing everybody up in tier 3?
Well, my plan was I needed to do 20,000 damage. Ultima, one cast of Ultima is going to kill Lady, and do quad 9s, and then I need Celeste and Zetsu to just do 10,001 damage, or excuse me, 10,003 damage, and then I just need him to X Magic Ultima twice. But as you saw, Sleep can Medo cast between X Magic cast. So if I'm sitting there with characters under 1,000 HP between X Magic cast, he's going to get off a Medio and possibly kill one or two characters. So that's why I want to get everybody's HP up before you enter Medo phase, and I did that.
Got you. Yeah, I was just wondering because I was wondering if maybe you took a risk there, if you could have beaten Poot's time. That's what I was wondering. But yeah, that totally makes sense. It's not like a quick, right? You know, X Magic allows anybody to do an action, like a jumper per se, or an enemy mob.
No, and then gosh, and then I menu so much, and there was other things. I think if I knew the Esper wasn't at Wilkgate, I'd go to Wold of Bruindarth and do the dragon, and then the dry talk spot, and then maybe if that gets me more levels and I don't fumble around with menuing so much in the tower and playing dragon, doing 2 dragons for the price of doing 2 dragons when I could just do 1. So all those little things just kind of add up, and sometimes they go your way and sometimes they don't.
Very true. I mean, if this seed was very punishing. Times were, I mean, you saw Poot's time, but the times went from Poot's lowest all the way up to almost 2 hours. So,
yeah,
like this seed was very punishing if you didn't find the right route, as we are witnessing here live.
There could have been a character at Opera House, Kefket Nourish, or Magitech for a different route.
Kefka and Nourish had Realm.
Okay. But yeah, that X Magic Gal, and then having a +2 magic power with Esper at the start, that's the key to a good time for this seed. The Lumina and Ragnarok are nice, but finding the experience egg with a +2 magic power, that's how you get through this with a 114.
Oh yeah, totally.
Or 113 in Poop's case.
So, yeah, like if you didn't take one of those 2 routes, you were last locationed in this, and a lot of people, from what I've witnessed, don't go to Kefket Nourish until they have 3 to 4 people, and they really don't like to go up there, especially without having another check in their bag. And then a lot of people don't like to go to Phoenix Cave, because a lot of them like to take the dragon now with the AP mattering with the new tier changes to the Espers, right? Because if you need Fire 3, at times 2, that's 1 dragon fight, right? So if you get that Fire 3 Esper late and you need a dragon and you've already killed the Opera House dragon early, or you've already gone to Nourish, it's like you kind of want that dragon in your bag sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's great to see the divergence, and you definitely give a lot of us to chew on, with the Phoenix Cave start and getting the chests. Because normally when I go to Phoenix Cave late, I don't take any chests whatsoever. I just in and out, dragon, check, done. So it's a nice abstract to look at the check. Going in there early versus going in there late.
Yeah, it's going in there. The early part, your phase 1, it's ideal. It doesn't always happen based on your start, but it is super ideal. All the good times, in my opinion, all the PBs are produced, in my opinion, when you can loot or progression into your looting phase, and when you're at 10 minutes, or I think I probably didn't do the Serpent Trench till like 13, 14, 15 minutes, but it didn't matter because I had 3 Espers, or 2 Espers and a 4th character, and I knew where a 3rd Esper could possibly have been. Plus I had a guaranteed one of the belt check if I could just find dried meat. So I'm sitting at 13, 14, 15 minutes, and I have 5 pieces of progression in the bag. I just got to go get them at some point. And when you can work that into your looting phase, that's when you produce the best possible times, and that's just what the Phoenix Cave does. So that's why it's ideal to go there early.
Hands down. Joker, do you have any questions for Gluevere?
So we're at week 4 of the season. Compared to the beginning of the season, has your impression of the flag set overall changed at all?
I like the changes. Ultima, I think that's the first time I've used Ultima all season in my official runs, and I do like the addition of it just because it's just such a random use case or an unlikely use case that it's just nice to have in the bag, and it is part of the game. And Worlds Collide does try to stay true to the vanilla game, save for glitches, and having in there in some capacity is a net plus in my opinion. One thing with the check skip, sometimes you feel like the check skip is too low, and tonight in my case where I'm at 16 and I have 9 espers, I know where 10th esper is 5 feet away, and it's kind of like a in between. Do I want to go do 4 more checks real fast, or just go into the tower? Then I go into the tower, then I study my menus like it's an IHOP menu or whatever. The check skip prevents some interesting elements like that. But my impressions haven't changed, and I really like them. I really think they've all been a net positive in some way.
Is there anything you'd want to see changed for next season?
More Yumaro. I think Yumaro should be a mandatory start for everybody.
Honestly,
at least there should be maybe like a weekly theme where week 1 Yumaro is a mandatory start, and week 2 is a mandatory go-go start. Maybe some incorporations. Like the NFL has breast cancer awareness and or baseball too, and they'll have pink ribbons on their and do pink bats or whatever. Some things like that maybe, but from a competitive standpoint, those don't make much sense. But from a fun standpoint, 100%.
I honestly, I feel you completely there. Like, I honestly think like you could even add some spice to it. Like, Mega Elixir tiers have these handicaps set to their seeds, and then Potion has, these handicaps set, and that could increase the difficulty for the divisions, to really test people's mettle and game knowledge. If you really wanted to spice things up.
One thing I've wanted to start was Yumaro League, and what Yumaro League is a weekly async, and you just try to beat a Worlds Collide seed with just Yumaro, a gentleman's agreement that you don't add any other characters, and then each week the flags just get a little harder, and Yumaro the stats go down just a little bit, the requirements get a little harder, and you can just keep going until you see how consistently people can beat the game with just Yumaro.
Umaro on Final Kefka is very brutal, and even then, like, just getting through navigating through the tower. Now, if you had 4 Umaros, that would be different.
Well, the agreement would be that you could have support characters, but those support characters don't attack. They can heal, or you can have one and they can heal and they can put up golem, but they don't do damage. There would be some reasonable incorporations, because you could beat any seed pretty much just to solo Yumaro. You just gotta get him to level 60 or 70 and let him tear through everything. But to do it at a more reasonable level, there has to be some handicaps.
Yeah, right. You throw a ribbon on him and a safety bit, right? So he can't be instant death or petrified, or
yeah.
You can't protect against zombie though, right? So, it's like tier 2. He could get messed up real quick. Is the only issue I see with that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe tier 3.
I just wanted to give a quick update. We saw on Lunar Tremir's side that he had several bad fights against the statue area, and has worked out and reorganized the party, hopefully to be able to better address some of those fights.
Oh, Glue, any final remarks that you got?
I think it's important that in Poots, even though you said that don't get complacency is death in racing or really anything in life. So even though
In life, right?
yeah, So even though you had me picking apart, 2 minutes after 114, 114 is a fantastic time. But if you want to turn your 114 into a 113 and then your 113 into 112, look at what you could have done better. Even when you do well, I don't take it as nitpicking, or I don't take it as nitpicking myself. I just take it as general improvement. I'm still very happy with my time, but I still want to try to find ways to improve it. So.
Oh yeah, I mean you have to think, Lou. Thousands of micro decisions are you making in however long it takes you to go from the start of a seed to the end of one, and no one's perfect. No one's gonna make the right decision every time. But what you can do is you can mitigate the amount of times you do make mistakes or incorrect inputs, which could lead to time losses. Right? Like that's what you can mitigate. And that's all you can really do. And the only way you can really do that is by observing what you've done in the past. Do you have anything else for him, Joker?
No, I'm good. Congrats on your time, GG. I think you're doing really well in your, as I understand, doing super well in your block. So that's GG on that as well.
Thank you. I'm really excited now to see how it shapes up because Hoots is going to climb up the standings. Ludo Chimera, I think right now he's 4th, but he has a chance to. It's still early enough, so even though you're in the 4th, 5th, 6th place, you can still make up that time because you don't have to finish first. You just have to finish 2nd. Or if you're on the reverse of that, if you're on the bottom side of your bracket, you don't have to finish. You don't need the finish slash. You just need to finish above at least 2 people, and you can stay and give it another try during the next season. So a lot of those scenarios, nobody's out of the running. Nobody's final result set in stone. So I think that's when you see a lot of the real competitive runners, the really good times, the really good races. So other players, if you can, these showings are awesome. They're fun to watch. My only regret, the point is that I can't watch 2 people go head-to-head in the competitive division. If y'all can, get your sync races together and we'll work with you as far as getting a scheduled time together. You just need 2. The more the better. If you can get 3 or 4, that's even cooler. But if anybody wants to get 2 people in the division to get a sync race going, to hammer it out live on air, that's fantastic, and we love to get it together for you.
Thank you so much for that, Glue. I always appreciate your mentality, in life and when it comes to this game. It's always a fresh perspective.
As long as that dog is in you, and it's in you, Sonic, it's in you, Joker. Schwantz, if you're still here, Schwantz definitely has that dog in him. And ladies and gentlemen, I can officially confirm, Poots Cootie has that dog in him tonight.
Roof, roof. Let's get some barks in the chat.
Yeah.
Thanks again so much, Glue, and wish you the best and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd say Ludo Chimera has the no quit dog because that was some pretty severe setbacks, but Luna's already back at statues, reorganized, and is hopefully going to be able to get through these bosses that were giving him trouble earlier.
Yeah, and that's always the worst part about Kefka's Tower, right? Is because it doesn't matter how prepared you think you are, you might just put the wrong group in the wrong lane, and if they were just swapped, you'd be fine. But that's not what you did, right? So sometimes you just gotta bite that bullet, take the time loss. I think in my seed, I did a draft seed, I think this week, where I had to do the walk to Kefka's statues 4 times. Oh, I was hanging my head in shame during that 4th walk, I'll tell you what.
We do see a reset. I do also notice that Lunar Chimera has not fought any of the dragons, at least none that I've seen. And that could be an opportunity to just get a bit more power for this, getting through these bosses and getting to the final fight.
It is very true. The only issue with that is and how his party was split and how much it's actually going to help, and then how much of a time loss would it be if the RNG goes wrong, right? Though One good way to save.
there's
Oh, it looks
one
like you did take
dragon.
out that dragon.
Well, that's good to know.
One good thing that I do like to do when I'm in Kefka's Tower, I'm moving around a lot. If I'm doing a lot of these experimental fights, is I'll move somebody close to the fight and then save it with a different group. So that way, if I mess up the fight, I don't have to keep doing the walk over and over and over again. You just swap, start the fight again, swap, start the fight again, and it could save a lot of time if you're dealing with RNG, like for instance Doomgaze. Doomgaze has so much RNG in his fight. He could straight up cast Doom over and over and over again, or he could basic attack, arrow, cyclonic, not really do much. Or he could be a nightmare.
Yeah, and it kind of is being a nightmare right now. But I guess my question is, like, what you sort of mentioned it yourself that you had to do this like 4 times in a particular seed. But in Lunar Chimera's shoes, do you want to take any extra fights to try and get some extra levels, or do you want to try to shop around a bit to see if you can maybe find an answer in a shop or somewhere?
See, I haven't gotten a chance to see his specific levels right now, so I don't know how to answer that appropriately at this moment. But based on how many... 36 on Realm and 35 on Go-Go. I mean, that's pretty good levels for Final Kefka. Here we had 35 and was at 41. So, I mean, we got great levels. We have some decent gear, right? He doesn't have Ragnarok or Illumina over there. He doesn't have the Valiant Knife. So I see your reasoning. It's honestly a tough call to make.
Yeah, and part of it is just the psychology of I'm here, I just need to get through it. And then I'm good. But there's also just the issue of if you keep on reorganizing, each time you reorganize, that is a time loss. And is there a point where it says, okay, I don't have the answer currently, I need to go get the answer somewhere else?
It's true, and it's a hard decision to make on the fly, right? You see him doing some tech here. You move the scimitar around because knowing that phase 2 is weak to, instant death, hoping that he can get an instant death proc once he gets to phase 2. If RNG works on your side, right, then the decisions that you're making on the fly are going to work, right? But if things just happen to not go your way, then obviously the answer was to do something else, right? But that's the risk you play when you play an RPG, right? Is you're always at the whim of RNGesus.
So let's, hypothetically though, let's say you do say, all right, I don't have the power right now. What would you personally do to get the power in this situation?
Do we know his exact number of checks?
I do not personally.
Glue throwing up the Shooter McGavin classic pose. Now, he's probably close on checks, right? So, let's say things go horribly wrong, he can't get through, he needs another level. He could always warp out, take the whole group in, kill Toilet Atma, get that check, right? That would get you a bunch of levels depending on what boss it is.
We are through the SR
that could do the job. And that way you could use the skip to go right back to the switches and not have to run back through the tower again.
Right.
If he needed to, like, he didn't kill Opera House Dragon, so he could, run into Opera House Dragon as well. They are both minimal time losses, right? I mean, I would say, 2 to 3 minutes each, probably.
And I believe this is the group that has to go through Doomgaze, if I remember correctly.
Kraken saying he just got here. Can we do it again? Anybody else want to race? I'm not sure what boss was in what location. I remember Goddess was Senor Behemoth.
Yeah, and that's the one we just finished, so that is some progress at least. And it looks like Chimera is just looking through the espers for any spells that might help with what's coming up. Yeah, so this is the Doomgate side, I believe. Yeah. We already knew that was going to miss.
You can get through, if you know you can get through, and you just have to deal with the RNG, right? Oh, but that is not what you want.
And I'm guessing that Lunar Chimera is trying to go for some specific attacks from this particular dance.
Yeah, the thing with dance, though, is I think the only dance that would really hurt Doomgaze, like, dramatically, would be, like, Wombat or Elfire. And then, let's say you do hit the dance that has them, right? It's a 33% chance it's going to do that move. Even with haste on, there's a higher chance that Doomgaze is going to doom you before that happens. Oh, look at that landslide doing.
No, I think that was what I think that's what Lunar was going for, was that landslide.
Very nice.
Dodges the cyclonic.
So 3 landslides then would kill Doomgaze.
Well, there's 2.
There's 2 of them. That's a great call by Lunar. I'll have to remember that. Landslide is with Ice Rabbit.
I think this is Earth Blues, if I remember. I could be wrong.
It's hard to say because, again, the dances are shuffled, right? So just because you learn the dance, the dances themselves are shuffled within themselves. So you don't even know what the original dance is unless you know the vanilla dances by heart. It's another way that spices up Worlds Collide, right? Is you get Far Sweet, and every single seed you do, Far Sweet does something different. So it's...
And Setzer has dodged 2 dooms so far.
3
dooms. Setzer might have like safety bit or something on.
Setzer is a gambling man, right? So.
Does Memento Ring actually block the Doom cast?
Memento Ring does block instant death.
So that's could be more. Okay, there's another landslide.
This might be it then.
Yeah, nice. That's it. So that was the answers. Funny enough, just dance at it and start a rave. The Doomgaze will go away.
Yeah, I'm not sure of Doomgaze's health pool total, but I think it's like somewhere between like 25 and 30k.
But it was certainly one heck of a dance to bring down 3 landslides. That's all I'm going to say.
You had Sensor and Celis both dancing off, right?
Okay, and here it is, the final statue stopping him from getting to Final Kefka. It's Leader.
And Lunar can take a nice sigh.
Yeah, I mean that's like clearly Doomgaze was doing all the work in this particular relationship. That is
You know,
probably
Doomgaze
the
is
most unscary statue boss, I'd say.
Yeah, Doomgaze is flying around muttering to himself, why do I have to sit here and why can't it be up there? What am I defending this guy for?
But yeah, that's all statues down, so we're going to see another Kefka fight.
All right, everybody, get your predictions in the chat if you have an idea. How long do you think this final Kefka is going to take? Hey, and Glue, if you have your final Kefka recorded, we never got the timestamp of your first bell. If you could tell us how long your final Kefka was. Oh, and the Kraken has a great question in the chat here, and says, "How does this game get randomized?" He hasn't seen a Final Fantasy VI one yet. So, Kraken, there's a special seed bot that takes all of the flags and organizes them however you want. You can set them to random. You could set them to specific. I don't know what you would call it, customized categories that we've created. Like this one right here is called the Ultros League, which is it run once or twice a year, Joker?
I am probably not the person to ask about that schedule, so sorry about that. But basically, the randomizer is a program that runs on top of the original ROM from the or it takes the data from the original ROM and rewrites certain components in it based upon flags and other sort of randomly generated seed, or possibly not randomly generated seed, to sort of figure out where to put the different things and how to organize the different things. And you can make something that's fairly vanilla, or you can make something that's completely bonkers. It's sort of up to you. Definitely go to the Worlds Collide FF6 website. Check out our Discord too. Lots of great people on the Discord could probably give you much better answers than I could. But if you go to the website, you'll be able to mess around with it and see what kind of stuff you can randomize there. And it's a lot of interesting stuff. But again, as Siren mentioned, this is Ultros League Season 5. It is an official tournament seed flag set. And we are currently, waist deep in this season. I'm not sure how much longer we're going on for, but we've seen a lot of great matches so far. But anything that says Ultros League Season 5 is going to use the same kind of flag set. It's going to be randomized differently based on the seeds. But currently, right now, we do have the Tier 1 going on. I don't know if we've seen an Insta-Death cast yet.
We did. We saw an X-Zone go out, and it actually hit, which is amazing. Because X-Zone is like the lowest percentage hit of X-Zone Break or Doom on Long Arm.
I'm just glad to have one less arm to deal with. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. Always great. And Kraken, another thing that we also do is a draft mode in which a bunch of cards were made in which you can get a bunch of people in a room together and you all draft flags for the seed to alter it. And you can do some wacky stuff. You can make the seed a dragon hunt where in order to unlock Final Kefka, you have to find the dragons, and the dragons are mixed into random bosses, so you never know where they are. And it can be a lot of fun.
Or if you're a less competitive person like myself, you might be interested in the multi-worlds. There's the Archipelago multi-world system. There is sort of a beta in development version of Worlds Collide that does link up to that. So you can be playing Link to the Past or Super Mario World and be sort of finding items that helps out people playing Worlds Collide or Stardew Valley. So, and both the draft and the multi-world stuff you can learn more about that in the Discord.
We look forward to seeing you in the Discord.
And we're seeing a lot of ice casts. I don't know if Lunar Chimera found any really high-level fire spells for that head, though. But we are through Tier 1.
Yeah, sadly, I didn't see Fire 3 anywhere in this seed. It was pretty bleak when it came to 3 spells.
I also don't think that Lunar Chimera, just because of only having like basically 2 characters for most of the seed, never really got the curse shield uncursed. So probably doesn't have the big blue button to press.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't have the big blue button. I don't think he found the Ragnarok either, right? So, or the Valiant Knife.
And I think I doubt that there is any like silence available. Even though Chimera did go on a slightly divergent path, I don't think we ever saw silence on anything.
Yeah, I didn't see Siren anywhere and didn't see Mute. So I don't know if anybody had natural magic Mute, but that's 50% chance, and then if you got the character that naturally magic learns Mute, and then you have like what a 5% chance that he learns the spell when he's supposed to, or at a level that is convenient, because the character only learns about half their given spells naturally.
Yeah, and I think we just saw another successful X Zone, because I think Tools just fell to that X Zone cast. So that's pretty lucky. On the other hand, we do see that Setzer is taking up his natural position for this seed.
He's sleeping on the job again.
Yeah, and I don't know what Lunar Chimera might have for, like, obviously we did see like Realm and Gal picked up, but I don't know if there's any levels gotten for yeah, we already talked about like who else did you get? No, it was these
Realm.
Was Realm and who was his Go-Go. Okay, so I don't know if Realm and Go-Go have gotten any levels or any power, so I don't know if it's we do see a Life 2 coming out, so hopefully trying to pick that Setzer up before the tier shifts.
I mean, they were roughly in their 30s, if I remember right, 34, 35, but still Go-Go at least has every spell of the people that are in the party with him, right? So as long as the people who are alive in your party have spells, Go-Go can still do stuff, right? But Realm, not so much. So if she doesn't have natural magic, I mean, what is she going to do? She could use some rods and stuff, but we didn't find shops with rods, or I saw pearl rods at one point, but again, pearl rods are like 12 to 14k, and usually don't have a lot of money to burn to buy 5 or 6 pearl rods.
I mean, I think in general this is going to be a rougher Kefka fight than Blue had.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, just without the big Blue and some of the other fun toys that Glue had, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, I think Blue's longest final Kefka tier was 2, and that was even with him throwing out a double Ultima for 80k across all 4 parts. So oof.
Yeah, that was a really nasty 10 hit.
But you do like to see 10 hit happen. I like to kill hit before magic if I can't mute magic, right? Because if magic just so happens to quarter right after 10 hit or before 10 hit, that could wipe your whole party, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
This gives you the time to recover. Yeah, it's definitely a time loss, and then you have to sit here and deal with magic's counterattacks. Oh no, he life 3'd himself. This could make it even more disastrous here if you don't have Dispel. This is what we were talking about when Glue is here fighting tier 2. How luckily he's not counterattacking, which is really nice.
I still haven't seen the Dispel come out, so that Life 3 is still on it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's not counterattacking because the Life 3 is on him.
And if that a Life 3 hits, then it's going to just be go through this slight. I don't think it restores them to full health, correct?
No, that Life 3, I think it's like roughly 5%, or it's some low number that's under 10%.
I think that was the Life 3.
Glue, do you know what percentage health, or anybody in chat, does anybody in chat know what percentage health Life 3 brings you to? Yeah, and see, now that the Life 3 triggered, you see how he's counterattacking every time? So, actually, I wonder...
That is tier 2 done.
I wonder if it's a time save in the future to... Oh, Final Fantasy IV, it's off of her stamina stat, so he's not sure. But I'm wondering, I kind of want to experiment with this. If anybody in chat hears this, experiment with this and let us know. If you're on tier 2 without mute, and you have Life 3 magic, and then tack him down, right? Because if he's not going to counterattack, if he has Life 3 on, that could save you a lot of time, because when he respawns, he still has no life. So
Lunar Chimera just managed to steal a Ragnarok sword, so some new power for Celeste. However, that Merton, instead of being helpful, as greatly weakened Gal. And I don't know if Golem is equipped on one of these characters, but I think we'll probably see Golem come out.
Oh yeah, and you know, one thing that I forget to do on tier 3 sometimes when I'm counting damage and queuing it up is I forget to throw Golem or Fenrir out. So I really hope Lunar doesn't follow the same.
Yeah, it seems like the top 3 characters are protected against the Merton cast, but Gao is taking it.
When he's not weight tricking Gao's condemn counter either.
I don't know if we've seen Life 3 at all either, apart from, Magic in the last tier.
No, we haven't. Oh no, and that's what you hate to see is the train.
Okay, so we have tipped over into Sleep's sort of really horrible phase.
Yeah, this is the phase where he counterattacks every time you hit him with Train or Meteor, and his ATB. I think he almost gets haste here as well.
Yeah, it's a very nasty situation.
Very fast.
I've definitely wiped several times to this.
Yeah, he's definitely taken me down on a few Iron Log runs. Very sadly. But luckily, we get all misses except for Setzer. Oh, Setzer twice. Oof. But as you said, Setzer's assuming his standard position for this run.
Yeah, I wonder if it was just like a lack of really defensive equipment and still sort of doing that. Oh, that was a nasty hit. Oh, the calmness triggered.
This definitely gave me food for thought, though, right? In that if early on I don't find what I'm looking for, I should seriously consider an early Phoenix Cave instead of saving it for later. Is I don't know, for it has to be for like my last 50 seeds at least. I have not gone into Phoenix Cave early, at least. What about you, Joker?
I usually end up checking a bit, but again, I play a lot of the multi-worlds, so there's plenty of fun stuff in there for multi-world.
Oh, gotcha.
Stealing the Mega Elixir, good tech, good knowledge.
You gotta love that game knowledge, right? Because that Mega Elixir can come in real handy here if he doesn't have the damage to pull through that Fallen One skip.
And Realm is the replacement for Locke. We're trying to get her equipped for this fight.
Or putting the heal rod on. I mean,
Okay,
if he's about to
interesting.
use a Mega Elixir though, I feel like it's just a time loss. Even taking the time to do all that. Because right here, every turn matters, right? Because every turn that you're not doing damage to Kefka, you're risking another Fallen One. And if you only have that one Mega Elixir, it can get really dicey here.
Yeah, and we're seeing that Ice 3 is the substitute for Ultima in this case.
Oh, luckily Setzer had a ribbon on, so he could be the designated remedy user. That's really huge for Train. And especially if you have a Unicorn Esper, what you could do is put the ribbon and Unicorn Esper on the same person, and then you don't have to use 2 turns to use the Unicorn. You know, you just pop the Unicorn right away.
Galley's remedying himself, however. How much damage do you want to be doing during this phase?
I mean, you want to get Kefka to roughly like 40k, right? Before he gets to Goner phase. Because you know you can safely throw out 20k with 4 people, but you know, you don't want Goner to fire. Right? You want him to die in Goner phase, because if it doesn't fire, then every attack in between that and his next Goner phase could trigger an Ultima, right? Especially if you don't have quick. So it's very risky. Otherwise you have to sit there and take Kefka's hyperdrives to the face until he queues up the next Goner. It can be really scary.
Okay, well, we are getting hit by the Goner.
Now, luckily, everybody has a nice high enough life total that with good defense, they're all
Except
gonna
for
survive
Realm.
it. And now we know Kefka is almost dead, but no one has a high enough life total to survive an Ultima. So here's where the risk is. You have to just sit here and wait for him to... Oh, there goes the Havoc Wing. See, this is where it can get really dicey if he decides to just Havoc Wing and Hyperdrive over and over again instead of queuing up Goner. You just have to sit here and take the punishment. Luckily, Revenger won't do anything.
This
Oh, but
this
another-
siege really just wants Setzer to take a nap. That's like, I'm guessing that's what's happening
Oh,
here.
see, and this is where it gets scary. Okay, you just counterattack with a physical attack. Now, this could instigate the next Goner, right? by casting a spell on him. See, so
Okay, Larry. Yep, we got Connor.
sometimes if Kefka's in this cycle where all he's doing is havocling, you do need to risk dealing him some damage. But it's scary getting close. And there we go. We
think
got
we're
the
there.
time. But as you said, he had the dog in him. The will not quit dog. Took Kefka down.
Yeah, so Lunar Chimera did have like a really rough statue section, having to reset and reorganize a couple times, but did eventually get through it. Remarkably using dance to do that, and I think we are going to be joined by Lunar Chimera very shortly.
Yep. Here we go.
Well,
Welcome, Lunar. How you doing? How you feeling after that?
that was trash. The beginning
No.
and the end. The middle was fine. The beginning and end of that were something.
Oh, hands down. You know, we were all here rooting for you. Everybody, you know, even Glue was saying you got the dog in you. You know, you just keep barking.
Ugh.
Any specific thoughts or feelings you have about the seed?
Well, it's definitely a better path than the one I took. Almost last check for any characters. I had all 9 of my espers before I had any characters. So that was interesting.
Yeah, so the only 2 characters were present from your initial 3, and they were locked behind Phoenix Cave and Kefka at Narsh.
Okay, I wondered if there's anything behind Gau's Velt check, but I never went for that one because I was like, I never found any dried meat, so...
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Cyan.
Gau's Velt led to Cyan, and then Cyan led to Edgar, right?
Yeah, Edgar and Terra at Doma Defense and Doma Dream.
So the seed broke open from that. We're not sure what Realm would have led to, right? But I'm sure Realm would have led down the other path. But
Yeah, I mean, we saw Go-Go from Realm at Esper Cave, but no one checked Onzer's mansion.
Yeah, at that point I
It's
already
just-
had 6, so...
it really makes sense for the times for this week for the seed because most people don't go to Kefka at Narsh or Phoenix Cave early, right? Because they want to save them for when they, you know, could split up their parties appropriately. But
Yep.
it's like in this time you were rewarded if you did it, and that's the thing with some seeds, man. They can really throw these curveballs at you like that.
Right. I debated going to Kefka earlier because I was already, like, since I only had 3 characters for all of those espers, they were all pretty well leveled, and so I debated it, but then it's like, well, let's check Phoenix Cave first, and then found Gao, but then didn't have any dried meat, so I was like, well, okay, I guess we're doing Kefka anyway.
Okay, and
Yeah.
we did have some technical issues, so I just wanted to ask this for as far as your own tracker goes, because we may have lost track. How many dragons did you end up fighting?
I ended up with 2. I took one more. I took the one in Phoenix Cave, and I took the one, was it Gold Dragon spot in Kefka's Tower, because I wanted the experience for Doom Gaze, because I was level 40, so he was killing me with level 5 Doom at the start.
And then, what were your checks at?
What am I at? I'm at 16 checks, so it wasn't.
Okay.
I needed way more if I wanted to get skipped. I needed
Yeah,
3 characters, 2 espers, or wanted to be 5 checks.
or 21 checks. Yeah.
Right, which is 5 more. Yeah.
Yeah, we were wondering because we couldn't tell what your checks were at. We were having technical issues as well, technical difficulties. So a lot of the time for me was spent dealing with that.
And it also seemed like, in addition to not being able to find an early character, there was a lot of trouble keeping Setzer alive during some phases. Was that just bad RNG, or were you just unable to find some good equipment to keep him up?
I think he just kept getting hit by everything. I think that's what kept taking him down. But yeah, I definitely was not happy with that. When I was like 3 checks in, he's still level like 5. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah, we people in chat were joking that Setzer was just assuming the position.
I debated just taking him out, but then when I started finding people, I was like, they're not much better.
Yeah, and it also seemed like Tier 3 had it in for Setzer as well, because I think he went down a couple times during that phase as well.
Right, at that point, I was just trying to keep anybody up. Some of them I let go down because my only real healing was life 2, so I didn't let them go down to heal. And then I, of course, got to cast Golem at the end, and so I lost Locke, which was that life 3 caster.
Yeah, I think for us in the booth at least, the thing that we were questioning that turned out to be work perfectly for you is using the dance against Doomgaze to get landslide off.
Yep, that's what I was hoping for, or even healing to keep them both up. But then we cast Wind Slash a whole bunch. I was like, well, at least it's doing damage.
Yeah, I was wondering like what dance you were hoping for, because like we know like the only ones that would have been effective against Doomgaze really would have been Elffire, right? And like that's
landslide and Elffire is why I used it, because there were two out of the 4 would do a lot of damage. One was a heal, and then the other one, I forgot if wind damage was negated or not, but turns out it still does a little bit. So
yeah, because Doomgaze has that exceptionally high physical and magical defense, right? So
right,
you know he just goes crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't happy to see him, and then the first couple times I went into Behemoths, and the ones casting, the first time was Fallen 1 into Goner, and the second time was Ultima into Goner, and I was like, really? We're doing this?
It was an evil seed. I will tell you, from the seeds that I've seen this week, a lot of them have been very brutal if RNG didn't go your way. Do you have any final thoughts about the seed?
Nope. I think I'm good with this one. I'm just gonna let this one go. This is my bad one for this season, so...
Yeah, just put it aside. I mean, I do think, like, speaking personally, that it was very admirable of you to keep trying. Like, because I know myself, I might have gotten fed up after like bouncing so many times at statues. But we saw you just keep at it, reorganized, come up with a new plan, and you've hit upon like I said, that dance strategy was not something I was expecting to see, and I was really glad it worked out for you.
Yeah, usually with the times, I try to stay going until I'm past like my latest one. But we haven't had any really bad ones this season yet, so I was just going to play it out and see where I get, because now I have a time that, if I'm later than 210, it's like, or 209, I can forfeit whenever I want. I don't have to finish it because it's worse than this time. It's going to get dropped anyway. So that's my thoughts on that.
Understood. I'm tracking that thought process.
And overall, how do you feel you are doing it's because you said this was only your first really bad one, or hopefully only really bad one for this season. Right. So you think you feel like you're doing pretty all right for this season?
Not terribly, but also then we have Boots and Glue in this group, so they're getting pretty low times and makes it hard to move anywhere. But hey, my times are in the middle, so I can go with it.
We love the positive attitude, man. I mean, that's what we all need, right? That's how we learn, stumbling and recovering.
Yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up shortly. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share about the seed, about the Ultras League, or just Worlds Collide in general?
Well, we have the living seed that we do it's a weekly thing. I feel like getting more people into that would be awesome. Finally starting to get a few more people. But it's essentially, you can change flags on it when you join, and the flags that were in the previous week continue to the next one, and then you change them again, and it keeps going like that. And that's how that one works. It's a very fun seed. People should try it.
And you can learn about that and the other stuff that Sonic and I were talking about in our Discord, so definitely come and visit the Discord if you aren't already a member. Just come in and like start learning about it and get involved with some of these stuff. We got the draft, we got the living seed, we got the multi-world. There's probably a bunch of other stuff going on as well.
Oh, there's a ton, and if you have an interest in anything, you can hop into the roles channel and volunteer for all sorts of different stuff. And if you have experience with coding or graphic design or even creating emotes or sprites, everything, there's room for everybody in every channel within the Discord. So please come, join, ask questions, communicate, talk, roll seeds with us, draft with us. You're welcome, all shapes and forms.
All right, well, thanks for letting us restream this, and GG. I know it's not the best time, but you stuck with it and you got there, and now at least you have a benchmark for when you don't have to put up with the seed anymore.
Right. Yeah, thanks you guys for restreaming. Can't do it without you guys either, so.
All right, take care, and have a good rest of the night. Have a good holiday if you're in the States, or whatever. If you're not in the States, whatever other people do during this time.
Yep, you too.
Yeah, happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy your weekend otherwise, and we'll see you again.
Yeah, and so once again, I'm Joe Marish. With me here was Sonic Jester. We just saw Lunar Chimera and Drinks Glue do Ultras League Season 5 async. One of the official asyncs for the tournament. We had Deshawn's helping out quite a bit. There's a few other people trying to help us with the sound issues we're having, but also just want to thank everyone for watching, and we're going to go ahead and sign off. So any last thoughts, Sonic?
No, thank you all for your support. It means everything, to the racers as well, because again, we couldn't do this if somebody wasn't here to run, right?
Absolutely. So good night, everyone.